We welcome you to episode 36 of Battin Chattin here on the Eastern Observer alongside Denis Tuohy. I'm Brandon Natale. Before we get started, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube to be kept on the loop on everything Eastern Observer and most importantly, Battin and Chattin. Our show can be found on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and wherever else podcasts can be found. Our show was presented to you by Black Cats NYC. Be sure to download the newest hit single, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us, which can be found wherever music is found, whether that's Spotify, iHeartRadio, SiriusXM Satellite Radio, and many others. Dennis, how you doing today on this fine evening or night?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just kind of hanging out. The new Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection comes out in 20 minutes.
Oh, is it really? Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know it
dude.
was coming out
I
tonight.
pre-ordered it.
Yeah,
Do you have Xbox? It's cross-generation.
I do.
So, bro, if you get the game, let me know. We'll play together.
Oh, for sure. No,
It's
I'm
the
definitely
classic ones, bro, from when we were kids.
Mm.
I cannot wait.
I didn't play the class. I played the new ones, like the remakes.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I was just playing that before I came down here.
It's good. It's fun. I don't know. It's a lot though. I mean, you gotta really be good. You gotta be good at it.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm not that good. I have moments. I've been getting good as Darth Vader lately.
Yeah.
As far as baseball goes and sports as a whole, Giants fan, bittersweet week. Losing Saquon, but getting this Burns kid, Brian Burns.
Yeah,
right?
as a Jeff fan, it's definitely not going good right now in One Jets Drive. We're not gonna dive into that too much, but all I gotta say is, as a Jets fan, may God help us.
May the force be with you.
That too. And that's I'm gonna leave it with that. Because like I said, hey, I know we dive into football a little bit. I mean, hey, we make some football references and we try to tie that to baseball. But hey, you know what? This ain't a football show. This is the BDJ Talk Sport. No, not this is. Oh my God, I almost got me going on that.
Whoa, hey now.
But I always used to do that every time we always used to start the show episodes. I
Yeah.
used to say, I mean, but
That's
hey,
funny.
like I
I
said,
liked it.
this ain't the football show. This is the Battin and Chattin podcast here on the Eastern Observer. Obviously, shout out to Joey, our boy, and and also Tyler too. I'll give him some credit.
They're directors, technically, right?
Yep, Joey and Tyler. I'll give them credit. Gotta be respectful to the people that helped got us here. But just I guess in terms of that, because I know you said Saquon left. He's an Eagles. Giants fans were going nuts.
Yeah, that was bad. But then we got Brian Burns. But it's on another network, but a show I listened to, a Giants-centered show. The main host of it, said that he always thought Brian Burns was very overrated. He was saying that before the Giants got him, and even now he said, I still believe he's overrated. But, I'll take it. The Giants haven't had a 40 career sack player since JPP in 2014. So I wouldn't mind a JPP reunion. Dude, you know how I feel
That'd
about
be cool.
JPP.
Oh wow, that'd be great. That would literally take you back to like 2011.
JPP is like a top 10, 15 favorite player of mine ever, of any sport. Like if I put everybody on a list, obviously Lou Gehrig number 1, Ichiro number 2, everybody else fighting for those 3 through. But JPP's he's definitely my favorite Giant ever. I was a big Rashad Jennings fan.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, deep cut. Oof, get some Neosporin for that one, brother.
He was good for them. I liked Rashad Jennings when he was on the Giants.
Yeah.
In terms of players leaving though, like in baseball, who do you think in terms of Yankees? Because you know how Saquon went to the Eagles. In terms of Yankees, who do you think, in your opinion, when it comes to leaving for free agency or getting traded, kind of so-called betrayed, or in Tiki Barber's words, they became dead to them?
First of all, at some point, well, this isn't a baseball show, but I do feel obligated to say I think Tiki Barber was kidding when he said that. Unless, of course, he repeated himself later on in the broadcast. The clip I saw, he was laughing when he said, yeah, he's dead to me. He's dead to us.
Right.
He said it laughing.
Clearly
joking. And Saquon just kind of was like, and the rest of the world just saw the quote and was like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
How can a former player say that somebody is, how could anybody criticize me? Oh my God. The whole world revolves around me. But
Yeah,
yeah, I guess like if Aaron Judge went to the Red Sox when he was a free agent, I think I literally would have thrown up. Like I would have been physically sick. I don't think I think I would have like stopped being a baseball fan for a little bit. Like I needed time to recover. Yeah, like I honestly I would have been like really mad. Like I would not have been happy. It's never happened with the Yankees. It never happened. Like I'm trying to think. The most disappointed I ever was at losing a guy was Hideki Matsui after '09 when he went to Oakland, no LA. He went to the Angels in 10. And it was the right move by the Yankees, but I'm mad. I'm mad, but it was the right move, but I was mad.
Okay. Well, in
And
terms of
as a kid, I didn't understand economics and whatever. I was just like, yeah, no, they got rid of Hideki Matsui. How could they do this to me? But as like looking back at it, it was the right move.
I feel like
The Yankees, though,
yeah,
like every player I really liked, I either like understood it or they finished their career as a Yankee.
right.
Like, I guess getting rid of Ichiro, but he went to the Marlins. Like, I didn't care. I thought we misused him, sure, but I didn't care as much. Like, I was very disappointed. He's my favorite player, but like ever. He's my second favorite athlete ever. But like, I didn't really care that much. It never happened with the Yankees. The Suns, it hasn't happened as long as I've been a fan. I could imagine when Steve Nash went to the Lakers, a lot of fans being pissed. I can imagine when they lost Stoudemire, a lot of fans being pissed. I can imagine when, but like even then, I think those were trades. So I honestly, it hasn't happened to my. Oh, actually, it has happened to one of my sports teams. We were just talking about this 10 minutes ago. Ilya Kovalchuk going to the Kings. For those of you who don't know, I'm a Devils fan. And for those of you who don't know the story of Ilya Kovalchuk, right before the lockout after 12, the 2012 season, 11-12, the Yankees had to pick between Zach Parise and Ilya Kovalchuk. They picked Kovalchuk. Parise went to the Wild. That was the lockout. The Devils got in trouble for contacting him during the lockout or strike, whatever it was. I forget. I'm pretty sure it was a lockout. They got in trouble. They had to forfeit draft picks. He went back to Russia, didn't play for X amount of years, and then came back as a member of the Kings, the team that eliminated us in 2012 Stanley Cup Finals. So, and I still hold that grudge. I was talking about it with one of my coworkers a few years ago. He had a game winner on us, and I said, and we were saying he was like, you know, I don't care if we lose a game, but it can't be because of that effing guy. And I was like, yeah, you're right, John. You're right. I'm really mad. That was my like one of my favorite players for that year. I became a Devils fan. He's the reason I became a Devils fan.
Okay.
So that really pissed me off. Like if he was on the Rangers or the Islanders, forget it. Forget it. I would become a heckler.
And I guess in baseball, I feel like with the Yankees, I feel like it's definitely the opposite.
Yeah, we took Johnny Damon and A-Rod.
Yeah, I feel like Johnny
The Red
Damon, he played
Sox.
on the Red Sox, won a World Series for that Red Sox, and won a World Series with the Yankees. Who else?
A-Rod.
A-Rod. Well, he was supposed to be a Red Sox,
Yeah.
and then he went to the Yankees. So then, but then you look at 04, how that transpired. Karma came back. I mean, either way, he still got a World Series. He got a ring at the end, but it just at that moment, it did not look good.
And I'm thinking historically, the Yankees, I can't think of any Yankee that became a Red Sox, but Roger Clemens became a Yankee. Babe Ruth became a Yankee.
Right, yeah.
I can't think of anybody the opposite. It's definitely happened.
You can't think
Obviously,
about it right now. The Mets, it
I
happens
just
nonstop.
can't think of it.
The Mets, it happens. I know Daniel Murphy after having the postseason that he had in 2015. He basically carried the Mets to the World Series. And then he, after that, he didn't sign with the Mets. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was because him and Sandy Alderson didn't get along. They couldn't get a contract. He signed for a pretty dirt cheap contract too. He signed for like 2 years, $24 million. I'm pretty sure with the Nationals. And the man was hitting like 330 nonstop. He was making a case for being an MVP. And on the Mets, he was like an average to good player at best. But like on the Nationals, he was like in the MVP conversations. It was ridiculous. It happens to the Mets. It happens to the Mets more than you think. Players they're terrible with the Mets, and then they go on to have insane, ridiculous careers. It's more uncommon than you think.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big problem with baseball in general, was the Daniel Murphy thing. And this is going to parlay us into the Blake Snell thing and how he's still unsigned. For whatever reason in baseball, it's like certain general managers for certain teams act like if I sign a guy for 5 years, he has to be great for 5 years. That's just unrealistic. Brandon, if you bought a car tomorrow, is that going to have the same mileage on it tomorrow when you first buy it as it will in 5 years? No. Is it going to go to? Is it going to have to go to the shop? Yeah. In year 5, is it going to have to go to the shop more times than when you first buy it? Obviously after you check it over, add whatever modifications you want to do. But hey, whatever. Yeah, that's the way it works, dude. When you first start a job, do you call out more or less than when you're there for 3-4 years?
When you start a job, yeah.
It's just the way it works. So like, it's the same way with contracts and whatnot, where it's like, and this going back to the Daniel Murphy thing is like, they didn't want to overpay for him when they knew like, yeah, he's hitting the prime of his career, but it's going to be bad on the tail end. And it's like, guess what? Who cares? Like, this is sports economics and it's been sports economics for 100+ years. Who cares? It's kind of like the same thing with running backs. It's like, well, I don't want to pay him when he's trash. It's like, okay, so what? I don't want to be married when my wife is ugly. But if we're both in our 80s, guess what? She's not going to look the way she did when she's 25. Oh, shocking. Like, get over it. That got weird. But like, you're looking at the Blake Snell thing, and it's like the same thing where it's like, oh, he's too wild. He walks too many guys. He has this problem. He can't get out of the 6th inning. It's like, okay, he can't get out of the 6th inning. That's a legitimate concern. For whatever reason, all of a sudden, I guess that matters again, that he can't get out of X amount of innings or throws X amount of pitches when, everybody just has a meltdown. If it's, 3rd time through the order, guy could be having a no-hitter in the playoffs, but it's the 3rd time in the order. Oh my God. What's going to happen? At the end of the day, like, I understand that people aren't going to like me saying this, but you're going to make bad contracts. You're going to make bad signings. You're going to have to do bad trades. It's like what I always say about the Josh Donaldson trade on here. And I said it, a week or two ago, the last time we recorded?
Yeah.
People like crush Brian Cashman for the Josh Donaldson trade, but it wasn't the Josh Donaldson trade. It was the IKF trade. Josh Donaldson was a salary dump in there. Is Brian Cashman the only general manager that's ever had to take a salary dump? No. So, yeah, as a Met fan, I would certainly have been pissed about the Daniel Murphy piece. And I also would be very mad if I was Blake Snell and his camp about not being signed yet. And as well as the other guys out there, Michael Lorenzen and Jordan Montgomery and Matt Chapman finally got signed by the Giants. And other guys, man, it's not right. It's just stupid.
Yeah, no, it is what it is. Another player I guess I can name is Travis Darnell.
That would really bother me. That guy could have been a Met, and he's been like a top 10 catcher every year. That would really bother me. But he didn't go right to them. You gave him up in the Syndergaard deal.
We got him.
It was Dickey and Darnell. Oh, you got him from the Syndergaard
deal? It was, yep.
Oh, and then he went right to the Braves after you guys? I thought you guys traded him somewhere.
I think we designated him for some. The problem with him was he kept getting hurt. He was always hurt on the Mets. You can do the research as you look at the stats. you can easily see he was not healthy enough.
How old is he, man? I got to keep that tab open because that's the Dylan C stats. Who got traded today? Woohoo. Who are we talking about? Draft Star now?
Mhm.
That's the wrong guy. He's 35. Oh, okay. Yeah, but there are two teams removed. He was on the Dodgers, he was on the Rays, and now he's on the Braves. So that wouldn't bother me too much. If it's like removed, I don't really care too much.
Yeah, makes sense. I apologize for that. But yeah, but anyways, I know you wanted to dive into teams that have looked successful this offseason. In your eyes, who would
Yeah.
start off? What are three teams that you think had so far a great offseason leading up into spring training and now getting ready to start the 2024 MLB season?
Okay. So I don't know what teams you picked, but I'm going to do bad first.
Okay.
I'm going to do bad first because I have a roadmap. At first, I had San Diego as the worst offseason of the season because they lost Juan Soto, they lost Blake Snell, they didn't add really anything of note. Prospects in the Soto deal. Michael King, very good pitcher. He slotted as like their fourth pitcher. What I saw in like a rotation projection, and I thought that was crazy. I think he's better than Musgrove and Darvish at this point in their careers. I think Musgrove's very overrated. But yeah, so like I was like San Diego, easy number one. And then they got Dylan Cease about 2 hours ago. All right, so let's talk about the Dylan Cease thing. Apparently, what's going over is the White Sox receiving right-hander Drew Thorpe, who is the number 4 ranked prospect in the Padres system, number 64 among ESPN's top 100 prospects. Right-hander Yariel Iriarte, number 7 prospect among San Diego's minor leaguers. Outfielder Samuel Zavala and right-hander Steven Wilson. To make room on the 40-man roster, the White Sox designated outfielder Peyton Burdick for assignment. Okay. Cease, 28, was the runner-up for the American League Cy Young Award in 22, but he's coming off a down year after compiling a 2.20 ERA 2 seasons ago. Went up to 4.58 last year. So while I'm not going to sit here and say the Padres are the biggest loser anymore, clearly, what I will sit here and say is that's a drastic overpay for a player who's had one really good year.
Okay.
5.79 ERA in 14 games pitched in 2019, 14 starts. 4.01 in 2020. This is 2020. I understand people are going to say, oh, it's a shortened season. This is the AL Central when Kenta Maeda looked like freaking Johan Santana for the Minnesota Twins. I love Maeda. I'll talk about him in a bit. But come on. It was the AL and NL Central. There's some tomato cans out there. We know that. And then he goes in 21, a 3.91 ERA and 32 games started, most in the league. Good for him. Led the league in wild pitches. So I guess you could say maybe a control problem, but he led the league in strikeouts per 9. One of those guys that just pounds the zone and gets, swing and miss stuff. Right. It happens.
Wait, can you hear my mic?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I can hear you loud and clear. And 22, I just read it. 2.20 ERA, and then last year in 33 games started at 4.58 ERA and 177 innings pitched. Which, honestly, for someone who led the league in games started, 177 innings pitched, that seems extremely low to me. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but I got to say, I really don't love it for the Padres. I don't. It's a good trade. I could understand why they made it. They need the pitching. The lineup isn't great, but they need the pitching. But you know what they could have done, Brandon?
What's that?
They could have just re-signed Blake Snell and held on to all those prospects. So I don't love it for them.
Okay.
He averaged 5.3 start innings per game. So what? 0.3. So that's a third of 100, right? 3.3 repeating, 3.6 repeating. So 5.1 innings pitched per per start. He averaged last year on a 4.58 ERA. I'm giving up my 2 of my top 10 prospects for that. Okay, when's he a free agent? Well, let's find out. I think it's after this year, if I'm not mistaken, or not this year, but the following year. But I could be wrong. I'm double checking it. After 2025. So you have him for 2 years. He'll be 29. And Blake Snell is how old? $31. With 2 Cy Young Awards. And has done it with your staff. So while this takes San Diego out of my top 3 losers, Brandon, I don't think that it I don't really think that this is a saving grace. And now we're back in it, baby. Buckle up. No. Musgrove, he's okay. Michael King, I like. Yu Darvish, I like, but he's 37 now. Oh, where does the time go? I remember when he was a young gunslinger coming out of Japan over in Texas. I don't know, man. What do you expect me to say? What do you expect me to say? I don't love it. If this Drew Thorpe kid turns out to be what they projected him to be when he was with the Yankees, I don't know. I don't know. So before we continue with the rest of the losers, like I said, I'm excluding the Padres. What do you think about the Dylan Cease trade? I just realized I had muted myself. What do you think about the Dylan Cease trade? Oh, I can't hear you again.
What about now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. Can you hear me now? Okay, I don't know why I had like a malfunctioning. Can't unmute your guest because it says you mute.
Oh yeah, I know I am. I wanted to move my table. I didn't
Sorry,
want to
you scared me.
screech it.
For some reason, Drake started playing on my computer. That's very interesting. I know Dylan Cease. I know the Yankees were high on him. I know they were the Yankees were one of the teams that checked in with the White Sox in terms of making a trade. Because I know we have other big news with the Yankees as Garrett Cole is on the IL. We will get to that later. I'm sorry about that. So I know the Yankees were definitely high on him. They were trying to make a trade. I know the prospects are interesting because Drew Thorpe. I know when I saw the name and I'm like, he sounds very familiar. And I know you alluded to earlier, he was in the Juan Soto trade from Juan. As Juan Soto was traded to the Yankees, and the Yankees sent over Thorpe to them. They gave him a lot of. It sounds like a lot of good prospects. 4 prospects. For this, to the White Sox for Dylan Cease. So Dylan Cease must be some pitcher to give up this amount of prospects. So I hope this is worth it for them. So it's definitely interesting. I don't know what the rush was to get him out of Chicago, Dylan Cease, but I mean, hey, now he's San Diego's problem. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. So, I think that's an interesting trade.
I could see it from the Chicago perspective of he'll be 29 when he's a free agent, and you need prospects and whatnot. So obviously their season last year was really bad. Had it been better and had Tim Anderson been better, I think they would have traded him. They would have done things differently. And you got to move on. You got to think about the future. Like I get it from their perspective, getting rid of Dylan Cease. I also get it from their perspective of they look at that ERA last year and they're like,
Right.
maybe this
Yeah.
guy really did just have one great season. It's happened in the past. Look at Alek Manoah for the Blue Jays right now. So I mean, who knows what they saw, what their reasoning is. I don't know, man. I'm looking at the stats right now, and I was just going through it. I think he's overrated. I think he's one of the more overrated players in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I guess,
I
credit
don't
to
think
the
he's
the
that
White
good.
Sox for taking advantage of the trade market while they can. If it's going to be, so wonder how he's going to be on the Padres, and they still got a decent, adds on to a rotation that's got Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, like you said, and among others. Blake Snell left, so that's I guess yeah, it would have been interesting. What happened if they would have re-signed Blake Snell? What would have happened? Would he have stayed on the team? Like, would they have
Dude,
made the trade for Dylan Cease? It's very interesting to see what would have happened if that happened.
why would you do that? You have all these prospects. You have pitching prospects like Drew Thorpe. If you re-signed Blake Snell when he's starting to age out and have those bad years, like I was saying earlier, those years where guys aren't what they used to be, and you just got to accept it. It's just a part of the deal. Those years are going to be bad. When that happens, now you slide him instead of being your ace, fourth or fifth in the rotation, and now Drew Thorpe. If he's what they projected him to be when he was at the Yankees, and as a Yankees fan, obviously, they always hype up prospects. We know that. Come on.
Yeah, yeah.
So maybe I was just being led astray or whatnot. Who knows? But if they held on to Snell, they could have just slid him over, man. I just find it. I don't know. I wouldn't have done it. I would have lived with not making it, and I would have just re-signed him. I know that a big reason why they're not re-signing Blake Snell is oh man, I forget the name of the gentleman. Their owner died, and he wanted a big part of it was he wanted to see a championship in San Diego before he died. So they went all in, and he just said, forget my money. I can't take it with me. And it's dark, but it is the thinking that he had. And Peter Seidler was his name. And now I think his son or somebody, whoever took over the team as the owner, the main owner, is trying to unload some of those bad deals so they could kind of, all right, we'll throw away 1 year and just reset the year after. I don't know. But yeah, I would just figure, all right, so then sign Blake Snell now. As if playoff revenue doesn't exist, right? What's up with that? I don't get it.
But no, I mean, hey, good for them. Good for them.
As far as the what? Oh,
I'm saying as far as the what?
Oh, as far as the White Sox go, good for them. You get a bunch of prospects back. We know how prospects are. We see their names get traded and dealt and waiver wired and this, that, the other. A lot of them never pan out. You see the name once in an article and you never see it again until they retire or until, they're moving between AAA and AA and single A and doing the circuit. So we never know. It's a crapshoot. Hopefully they all pan out for them, and this is the right move. Because if you get enough of those guys, you get enough of those lottery tickets, you kind of just improve your odds of hitting the big one. And they need a big one. They need another Dylan Cease, and this time have more success around the same time. The rise and fall of the late 2010s to early 2020s White Sox really is astounding. Because it seemed like just a few years ago when they had Lance Lynn and Tim Anderson and those guys, they were like a legitimate powerhouse. And they came into the postseason against the Astros and got mollywopped.
Yeah.
So.
But you know what? You're going to go with the losers. I'm going to go with the winners.
Okay.
I think the Dodgers definitely should be considered winners. They
Yeah.
got not only Shohei Ohtani, but Yamamoto. That's insane. The fact that they would blend both of them is just, but now the thing is, so they're winning so far. But are they going to put that together and start winning in the future? I don't know. I can't tell you.
They're clearly one of the big winners, especially all that deferred money for Ohtani. As we just know, unfortunately, it's the trend of the world. Inflation and things like that go up. Like 60 million now may not be what it is in 10, 15 years. When they have to pay him all that per year. So who knows? There's 68 million, whatever it is. That might be a problem. It might not be a problem. Yamamoto, he might be a bust. He might not be a bust. He's looked pretty good so far.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, dude, like they gotta win. They gotta win. They can't keep winning off seasons. They remind me a bit of the Lakers.
And they also got Tyler Glass now, too.
Yeah. And that's another one. You bring in Tyler Glass now, who I really like, and they extended him. So they don't have to worry about that. Glass now, unfortunately, it's in his name, man. The dude is made of glass. He cannot stay healthy to save his life. Heck of a ball player, one of the better guys in the American League over the last X amount of seasons with the Tampa Bay Rays. But we'll see how it holds up. They had a lot of injuries these last couple of years. Clayton Kershaw, they get a half a season out of now pretty consistently. And he's going to miss the first half this season. We'll see what this kid, Bobby Miller, is capable of. Dustin May, he's another one who can't stay on the field. Walker Buehler, I feel like it's always something minor with him, but it's a lot of minor injuries that pile up. No Julio Urias this season after his domestic violence lawsuit, or not lawsuit, but case came out. And he's still a free agent. They still have Tony Gonsolin. Like, they have guys.
Yeah.
But we'll see if Ohtani and Yamamoto are enough to put this perennial loser over the top. I know that they made the playoffs, but let's be honest. The Atlanta Braves in the 90s, they won the one World Series with Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. But a lot of people also look at them as one of the biggest, losing dynasties, like the 90s Bills or the 90s Jazz, right? These teams that were really good, really highly competitive for a long time that just didn't have the kind of sustained success that they really should have and could have. So we'll see. I don't want to be a pessimist, but we'll definitely see. Another big loser I have is the Minnesota Twins.
Okay.
They didn't really add anything like of note. And they lost the AL Cy Young runner-up, Sonny Gray, and they lost my guy, Kenta Maeda, who aside from one bad start was terrific last season and ate a lot of innings for them and was a reliable starter. You knew what you were going to get with him. He had 10 runs in 3 innings, one game, and that ballooned his ERA. But aside from that, he really was good. I think he was like a sub 3.5 ERA guy. Really good for them. And obviously, Sonny Gray, we know what he was able to do. He's now with the Cardinals. They didn't add anything. And not only that, other teams in the division added as well, who I'll get to in my winners section. I don't know, man. I really don't think they won the division last year, right? We all know that. But I have no idea what to do with these throw pillows on this couch. Different setup today.
Yeah.
They won the division last year, but I think people remember them running away with it when they really didn't. Like it kind of got closer than it arguably should have been. Right? Because you had 4 teams in the division that actively just were not trying at all and trying to just rebuild. So, like, by default, like, someone's got to win. Well, Hold on, knocking me to 2022. I wanted to go to 2023 standings. Okay, here we go. They won the division by 9 games over the Tigers. They were 11 games ahead of the Guardians, 26 games ahead of the White Sox, 31 games ahead of the Royals. Okay, so I know a lot of you are thinking, Dennis, they did run away from the division. But I'm telling you, until the last month of the season, it was not like that. It was a lot closer than it appeared, than it finished up being. So I don't like that the Twins didn't add much. I know that they're high on certain guys like Joe Ryan
Right.
and Bailey Ober, the nightmare, as some people have called him. Big 6'10" dude just winging it on the mound. Eduard Julian, I like. Byron Buxton's going to be back in center field. He's another one. If we're talking about injuries, you got to talk about Byron Buxton, unfortunately. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
I like Pablo Lopez, but man, I just don't like it. I just don't like it. I like the Manuel Margot deal for them. I like that. I like Carlos Santana for them. But Anthony DeSclafani? They traded away Jorge Polanco. They got DeSclafani, Justin Topa, Darren Bowen. I don't know. Doesn't look like a World Series team to me.
Right.
So, go ahead.
I feel like another winner could be Philadelphia because they re-signed Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler.
Yeah. And they got Whit Merrifield as well.
Yeah.
Be a depth piece.
So that's another winner. And yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely have them as a winner. I don't have them as one of my main winners, but we try not to take the same ones. So I agree with you, man. I think the Phillies are definitely one of the winners. I don't think they had to make a lot of moves. I think they had to prioritize, keeping the guys they already had, and just bringing in an extra bat off the bench, another piece in case there are injuries, somebody who's flexible, somebody who can run the base as well, and just kind of maximize their depth. Right. I like the pitching on the Phillies a lot more than other people do. I covered them for the Eastern Observer website when that was up and running. So I watched a lot of the games and followed the team closely. They had better pitching than I think people gave them credit for, which was funny because reading all my columns from the beginning of the year, I was ripping their pitching and the amount of walks they had and certain little things. But I digress. I think they had the exact kind of offseason they needed to have. Not sure if you have anything else to add.
No, I think what you said was perfect.
Okay. Another winner I have is the Detroit Tigers. I'm not always negative, guys. I'm not always negative. Addition by subtraction. Tigers lose out on Kenta Maeda, so Tigers pick up. Twins lose out on Kenta Maeda, so the Tigers pick him up. I just said, aside from his 3-inning, 10-run game, pretty good all season last year. He missed some time with injuries, but overall was very solid. I'll get the stats up for you right now, so it could be a little more specific than like, yeah, he was better than bad. I like him. I like his game a lot. He's a splitter sinker guy. I kind of feel like that's the way the league is going to. It's, splitter is back, baby. It's back. It's 1980s again. He had a 4.23 ERA, but like I said, it really was just one bad game. So I don't know. Sometimes that can be a little deceiving. Who knows? Maybe that's the case with Dylan Cease too, and I'm like ripping him. But before that, he had Tommy John surgery, missed all of 22. He had a 4.66 ERA in 21, but he was clearly pitching through injuries. 20, he had a 2.7 ERA. And then he was working as like this fringe starter reliever role for the for the Dodgers for a while. Excuse me. They didn't really have a spot for him. And it was just kind of weird. I like his game, man. I really do. I really do. He's had postseason success. He's had some good batting success as well. Fun fact for all you MLB The Show fans, he has a 99 bunting rating every year in MLB The Show. Pretty funny. I like him. And then they also got your boy, Mark Canha.
Yeah, I love Mark Canha.
Picked him up from the Brewers, from the Brew Crew, who are on my losers. Not a excellent player, but like good. He had a 108 OPS plus, 262 batting average, 62 RBIs, 11 home runs, 114 hits. So he's just consistent, man. You know what you're getting from him. You don't got to worry too much. He had a 287 batting average with Milwaukee, 245 with the Mets. Average that was 262 last year. And that's about where he is for most of his career. 250s, 260s around.
Yeah. No, I like
15 OPS plus.
I liked Mark Canha a lot when he was on the Mets. I was sad when they let him go.
Yeah,
they traded him away to Milwaukee, but that's how it is. They had to add on some pieces to the bullpen. I mean, to the farm system.
Yeah, the Tigers did lose. I guess the two biggest names, Eduardo Rodriguez, went to the Diamondbacks, and they had All-Star Michael Lorenzen is still a free agent.
Really,
I don't understand why, but pick him up. He threw a no-hitter for the Phillies last year after they traded him. Why not take him back? I don't know. Sometimes guys get a little, we'll say, impatient or turned off, perhaps, by teams that traded them in the past. Maybe something to do there. I don't know, but I feel like that'd be a good pickup for them. I feel like their division is extremely winnable. Like I said, I don't think the Twins are going to run away with it. I don't think on paper they're as good as people, I think, believe their reputation is. I think they're catchable. I think the Tigers could do it. And they really are. It's like one or two pieces away. I guess they don't have the bullpen that the Twins have. The Twins have a very dominant bullpen. However, there's always good relievers on bad teams at the trade deadline, and you can take advantage of it. So, I like the Tigers, man. Really do.
Yeah, no, that was good. If you had to pick a winner, either between the Mets or the Yankees, who do you think it would be?
Definitely the Yankees.
Okay.
Now, this is predicated on just the transactions and not losing Garrett Cole for 2 months. We'll get to that in a bit. And Aaron Judge might be going into the season a little banged up as well.
Right.
But you bring in Juan Soto. Period, end of story. You bring in Juan Soto. I don't gotta add anything else to it. The Mets really didn't add anything. They didn't lose anything too drastic, but they didn't gain anything.
Right.
They polished out the bullpen, which I've been calling for a while. And like I said, they're assuming they're projected to be a 500 team by most places, most predictors. Assuming that's where they think they're going to be, a lot of those guys I would recommend not buying jerseys of. So, the fifth guy in the bullpen, you always buy a jersey of. But I could see a lot of them getting moved at the deadline. I don't like the whole uncertainty of the Pete Alonso thing.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
I know you agree. We've spent so much time on the Pete Alonso thing. Didn't Francisco Alvarez just get hurt? Didn't one of your minor leaguers just get hurt or something?
Brett Beatty.
Because
he has something with tightness. I think it was back tightness. Back.
Okay.
I saw something that he just got hurt. Yes. No, I agree. And now the Senga's kind of out for like maybe till middle April, maybe beginning of May.
Jose Quintana is your opening day starter.
Yes, he is.
Glad we didn't buy tickets like we were thinking of.
Yeah, poor Quintana. I don't think he knew he was going to be opening day starter either. I mean,
No, I don't think he did.
he's not that bad. I feel bad. He gets a lot of hate, in my opinion. I feel like he
He's
gets
had
too
some
much
good
hate.
years, man.
It sucked that he got hurt in the beginning of last year because he wasn't able to play. He wasn't able to play right away. He came in like middle of July, I think. It took a while for him
I
to like
forget.
make his debut with the team. I think his first game, was with the Yankees against the Yankees.
I think you're right. I don't think he did
So
well.
serious, yeah. It was there. It was at Yankee Stadium.
I like what the Royals did. Seth Lugo, Michael Waka.
And they re-signed the shortstop to a long-term deal.
Bobby Witt Jr.
Iowa Jr. Yep.
One of the best young players in the league, man.
So they had a good one. I know the Texas Rangers, they added David Robertson to the bullpen.
They're another team, man. They didn't have to do much. They have a good starting rotation, not great. Obviously, without Montgomery, who was crucial for them down the stretch last year. And I don't think they're going to have DeGrom this year, right? Or at
Probably
least
not
not
gonna
for
have
a
to go on,
while.
at least not till maybe July, at least.
Okay.
Or maybe they might not. It's gonna take him. Tommy John's not easy to come back from.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. So,
I was gonna say, but I think that really wraps it up.
yeah. Yeah. I don't really think there's too many other winners or losers that really stand out to me. But we do, as a Yankee fan, I got to do my due diligence here. The Garrett Cole thing. Oof. Oof.
Mm.
Going to be with Adam for 2 months. Could be worse. Could be worse. Just before we started recording, Devin Williams out for what, 2 to 3 months with a fractured. What is it? Oh, I forget.
I have it
Some
right here.
science thing. I couldn't pronounce it if I tried.
I have it right here. Let me read it to you. He is diagnosed with two stress fractures in his back, according to Jeff Parson of ESPN. He'll be shut down
Oof.
entirely for 6 weeks and is expected to be out of MLB action for around 3 months.
That is
Definitely,
not good.
that
For
definitely
Devin
hurts
Williams.
for his bullpen. Definitely, I know he's one of the best
Hurts their
closers
whole
out
team.
there. I know they signed him to a good contract, so that definitely sucks. You definitely don't want to hear it.
Yeah. However, similar to Garrett Cole, what Michael K always says, no team's going to go 162-0. So if you're going to have injuries and whatnot, get it out of the way early. And hopefully when Devin Williams comes back, he's still throwing that screwball and just making guys look like idiots at the plate. And the same thing with Garrett Cole, although I don't think he throws a screwball, right? Not his game. Fastballs and just power pitching, man. Old school, kind of Oral Hershiser, Roger Clemens type pitching. Just power, baby, power. So I respect him.
And supposedly, the Yankees have not reignited their pursuit of starter Blake Snell in free agency, despite Cole's right elbow injury.
I think the market for Blake Snell is what the market is for Blake Snell, and he's just got a blank. I'm not surprised. Apparently, every other day I heard the Angels are in on him. Same thing with JD Martinez now, which would make sense to get those guys. They would have been a good fit for Matt Chapman. Cut Anthony Rendon and get Matt Chapman. Why not?
Right. Would have been interesting. No, but that definitely blows what happened to. I mean, at least you guys did dodge a bullet, just like the Mets with Senga. You guys did dodge a bullet. It was not, people were fearing the worst with this injury. Reading all over the news, and so the fact that he's only going to be out for so long, it's good for you guys. And when you got hurt, Garrett Cole, like I said, I didn't say anything. I said to the Yankees fans, you saw in the chat today. I said, hey, sorry, I'm sorry, Yankee fans. Hope he recovers. There's some people I know, some Yankee fans. Not you, of course, but there's some who, when Edwin Diaz got hurt, and this guy's, words I'm not going to say, but he was celebrating the Diaz injury and he was playing the trumpets as he was limping, which is kind of just, and he's probably going to hear this, and I don't care. He deserves this, which is just despicable and inhumane and sick. And like I said, I hope he hears this. So like, I'm never gonna ever root for a player to get hurt. I don't care what team they are. You don't ever want to hear that, especially a player like Garrett Cole. After coming off a Cy Young type season, and he was scheduled to pitch opening day. So like I said, at least it's 1 to 2 months, and like I said, he like Kodai Senga, he dodged a bullet. And so I feel like you guys definitely did a good job. I feel like you could definitely say the Yankees are a winner this offseason too, because the Mets same middle average, but the Yankees too, especially because they traded for Juan Soto. And then they also added some pitching depth. They got Marcus Stroman. And they added someone else, right? Or
Alex Verdugo.
they got
Outfielder.
they got Alex Verdugo, but then I was talking more about pitching. But I know they got they got Rendon. Hopefully he gets up to
Yeah.
par. That was last
Hopefully
year.
a full season of Rodon. That's an addition by itself. Same thing with Nestor Cortez, who missed a lot of time last year.
Right. So and at least you guys added Stroman because you guys I feel like compared to last year, you guys have the depth. You guys have the pitching depth. And hopefully we'll see what goes on with Cole Schmidt. Who knows if he's a reliever, who knows if he could be a starter. But it's definitely hopefully he won't be out too long, Cole. Take his time, and see how it goes. But like I said, the Stroman signing definitely was a big help. And
he's looked good in spring training, man.
Okay.
Stroman, so we'll see. And as you mentioned, Clark Schmidt. Let's see if he could take that step from long reliever to starter, like Michael King did for us last year. So I'm excited for this Yankee season, this upcoming Yankee season. I don't think, aside from the Orioles bringing in Corbin Burns, I don't think any team in our division made too many major moves. So I'm not worried about the Blue Jays. I think the Rays really took a step back. And we'll see what happens.
One of Franco's stuff doesn't really help him either.
No, it really doesn't. And you also lose him for the full season, probably. Tyler Glass now.
Yeah.
You got rid of Manuel Margot. You got prospects back, but Shane McClanahan coming off of surgery. Some other guys. I don't know. Is Zach Eflin really going to be one of your best pitchers? Is Drew Rasmussen going to be back? Like, I don't know what it is, man. They're pitchers. They always get injured. It's always catastrophic injuries with the Rays pitchers, probably because they overwork them. I don't know. This is what I would guess.
I mean, hopefully, Juan Franco, I don't know if he's going to, like I said, that stuff, obviously his situation doesn't help. It's more distraction to the team. But I'm sure they've it's crazy how a year ago Tampa was on a run. They had a good stretch. You think they could repeat kind of how they've been?
Anytime I say that the Rays are going to be terrible and absolute doggy doo-doo, they always prove me wrong. I do think their magic has ran out. I think they're going to have a really bad year.
People keep forgetting the beginning of last year. They were on a roll. They were on a tear.
Yeah, but it's easy to have a tear when you have one of the best young shortstops in the league. It's easy to have a tear when, to be on a tear when Randy Arozarena is coming off of an all-world performance in the WBC. It's easy to go on a tear when your pitching staff is firing on all cylinders.
Right.
I don't know what it is. So,
yeah.
Gotta say, I'm pretty disappointed in the Brewers offseason. Getting rid of Mark Hanna, getting rid of Corbin Burns. Brandon Woodruff's going to miss the entire year with Tommy John surgery. Now Devin Williams goes down. Ugh.
And they give it to Corbin Burns. Not looking good, no. Not at all.
No, it's not.
That's what else is trending in the MLB world.
Yeah, I always feel like we forget stuff, but I don't think we did this time. Oh, there was a suspension. You saw this? PED suspension of one of the top prospects in baseball. Marte. Is it Moelli? Oh, I forget his name. Motelli, Marte. It's definitely Marte. No Levy. No Novelli. No. It's late, guys. It's very late.
We're still here, and we're almost there, Dennis.
No, Novi Marte. Novi Marte. Noelvi Marte.
This is
Novi.
something that we should bring up. JD Martinez.
So where did he
Supposedly,
sign?
the Mets and the what?
Where did he sign?
Not yet. The Mets and the Angels
Oh,
are still among the teams talking to him. They said the Mets are still remaining interested. I hope he comes up with the Mets. It would be really cool.
yeah, that would be awesome for you
I would love
guys.
that because then he could easily fill the DH spot. They prefer JD Davis too. They're looking at both. I would love to get JD Davis back. He recently just got let him and the Giants recently just parted ways. He didn't have that bad a year. He had 18 home runs and he supposedly had the most plate appearances and games played in 144, I believe, ever in his career. So this
Okay.
yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't mind if they added JD Davis or JD Martinez. You know, I think they said they like JD Davis better because he's positional. But at the same
Hmm.
time, I mean, I don't know, it's gonna be tough because I'm sure if say they want JD Martinez, they're gonna want Mark Vientos to be playing more, see what he's got, give him a shot, and then have JD just batting, keep batting, batting and chatting.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying, because awesome, you gave me the time to bring it all up. Novi Marte got in trouble. He's going to miss the first 80 games of the regular season following a positive test for a performance-enhancing drug. 22-year-old Marte made his major league debut on August 19th, just over a year after he was acquired from the Mariners in the Luis Castillo trade. After playing exclusively at shortstop from 19 to 22 last year, he split his time between short and third at Double-A Chattanooga. Chattanooga, I forget where that is. Is that Tennessee? I forget.
Chattanooga.
Played third exclusively at Triple-A Louisville, and then made 29 of his 34 appearances for the Reds at third base, including 26 starts. In all, he hit 279, 110 weighted runs created plus, with 11 homers and 18 steals in 92 minor league games, and 316 with 3 homers and 6 steals in 35 games for the Reds. So he's good, man. He's their number one ranked prospect. That's not what you want to see. He tests positive for boldenone, anabolic steroid that's illegal under the game's Joint Drug Prevention and Treatment Program. While he can still participate in spring training, his 80-game suspension takes effect at the start of the regular season. During his suspension, he can work out at the Reds complex in Goodyear, Arizona, for extended spring training, and will be eligible to return to the majors on June 21st.
Again, yep.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Oof. That was a lot. Thank you very much to fangraphs.com and Jay Jeff, who wrote all that, as well as other stuff, but I figured that wasn't as important.
Right. Hey, yeah, good for you. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. That's funny.
Yeah, no, I just it's gonna be interesting. There was another thing I wanted to bring up. Damn, it's right on the top of my head. Now I lost track, but I see now, quoting the MLB trade rumors, Bill Plummer passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I never
Rest
like
in
hearing
peace
about
to him.
people passing away.
Rest in peace to him. But it's if the I can't believe there's a player I can't think of his name. No, I just can't think of. I lost track of it. I know you were talking about that. Katomo.
You're thinking, oh no, I don't know who you're thinking of, but you were talking about JD Davis and JD Martinez before. I was talking about Marte. I don't know if that would spark anything.
Joey Votto just joined the Blue Jays.
Oh yeah. Oh, is he like just joined the Blue Jays, or is he still a non-roster invite? Like, did he get called up? Okay. Hopefully, he gets a gig. I'm mad that his last home game as a Red is going to end with him getting ejected. That's so lame, bro.
I heard he's like a lot. Is that true? He's like a lot to deal with, a lot to handle.
I don't know. His teammates seem to really like him a lot. I could I could see just the way he is in interviews and whatnot, that his personality I could see not being for everyone. But I mean, like, he seems like the kind of guy that I'd probably get along with pretty well. I don't know.
Besides that,
His stats, man, have really declined to a point though where, for the good of the team, he couldn't be there.
Besides that,
It's harsh, but it's true. And he's a slow starter. He's always been a slow starter his entire career. He always heats up around June. So, and then he's just lights out. But when you get older, dude, that's tough. It's really tough to be that kind of player. Because now I'm just looking at your overall stats, and they're getting worse and worse. And if you're throwing away 2 entire months for, even at his age, it's no disrespect, for a mediocre at best stat line, it's going to look, the whole picture's going to look really bad. So,
besides that,
the best.
it's all we covered.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I always feel like I'm missing something.
Well, too late.
I don't think I am. Yeah, too late. That's it. The tribe has spoken.
All right. Well, we thank you for joining us on another edition of Battin and Chattin. For my co-host Denis Tuohy and the entire Blackjack Media Group team, I'm Brandon Natale saying so long, and we'll see you next time.